The words hit me like a hammer to the chest. You're dead weight, Dad. We need you gone by Monday. My son Marcus stood in his granite kitchen, coffee cup in hand, delivering this on Father's Day morning. 3 years of watching his kids, 3 years of paying into his dream house, 3 years of telling myself he was just stressed. The tie Emma picked out for me that morning suddenly felt like a noose. I didn't argue. I didn't yell. I just walked upstairs to the guest room that hadn't felt like home since day one and started packing. The morning had started differently. Emma, my 8-year-old granddaughter, had shaken me awake at 6:47 a.m. "Grandpa, Grandpa, we made you breakfast." Her gap-toothed smile reminded me why I'd moved to Portland in the first place. Downstairs, Dylan, age 5, had helped arrange burnt bacon into a smiley face on a plate. Jessica, my daughter-in-law, stood at the stove looking tired, offering an apologetic smile. "Happy Father's Day, Robert," she said quietly. Marcus came down 20 minutes later, already on his phone. 34 years old, software engineer at some startup I could never pronounce, wearing a t-shirt that probably cost more than my entire wardrobe. He'd been different since landing that promotion. Or maybe I'd just stopped pretending not to notice. We ate breakfast. The kids chattered about school ending, summer plans, the new pool Marcus had mentioned installing. I'd paid for the deck last summer, $18,000 of my firefighter pension. Marcus said it would add value to the property and that I'd benefit from it too, since I lived there. Lived there. Not this is your home or your family. Lived there. Like a tenant. After breakfast, Emma presented her gift. A clay handprint painted blue with "World's Best Grandpa" written in wobbly letters. Dylan gave me a drawing of us playing basketball. I thanked them, my throat tight. Marcus handed me a card. Generic. To a great father. No personal message. Just his signature. Then he said, "Dad, can we talk? In the kitchen?" Jessica's face went pale. She knew. I realized later she'd known what was coming. Marcus closed the door, poured himself coffee. Didn't offer me any. "Dad, Jessica and I have been talking. Actually, we've been talking with our financial advisor, Todd. He's really helped us see some things clearly." My stomach dropped. Financial advisors don't help you see clearly that you should keep your father around. You're 68 now. This arrangement, it's not sustainable long term. Todd says we need to think about our future, the kids' college funds, building equity. "I pay you $1,800 a month in rent," I said. My voice sounded calm. I was proud of that. "It's not about the money. I paid for the deck. I paid $5,000 toward your Tesla down payment. I bought the new washer and dryer in March. I watch Emma and Dylan 25 hours a week. Todd, calculate that?" Marcus's jaw tightened. "That's exactly what I'm talking about. You're keeping score. That's toxic behavior, Dad. My therapist says." "Your therapist?" I laughed. Couldn't help it. When did you start using words like toxic and boundaries? When did the kid who used to wait by the garage door for me to come home from shift turn into someone who needs a therapist to tell him how to treat his father? See? This defensiveness. This is why Todd thinks. "I don't give a damn what Todd thinks." My voice rose. "What do you think, Marcus? What does my son think?" He set down his coffee cup. "I think you're dead weight, Dad. I think we've been carrying you financially and emotionally for 3 years. I think you need to find your own place. We need you gone by Monday." The clock on the wall read 9:23 a.m. Father's Day, June 16th. I stared at him. This man I'd rocked at night when he couldn't sleep. The boy I'd coached in Little League, taught to drive, helped move into 7 different apartments before he bought this house. The son I'd given my late wife's life insurance money to for his wedding because he and Jessica were starting their lives together. $75,000. I'd given him $75,000. Carrying me financially. I repeated, "Dad, don't make this harder. I paid you $1,800 a month for 3 years. That's $64,800. The deck was $18,000. The Tesla down payment, $5,000. Washer and dryer, $3,000. New fence in year 1, $6,000. The tree removal after that storm, $2,000. Should I continue? You can't put a price on family. You just did. You put a price, and I came up short. I stood. Monday. I'll be gone by Monday. I walked out. Jessica stood in the hallway, tears streaming down her face. She opened her mouth to speak, but Marcus called from the kitchen. Jess, let him go. She did. I climbed the stairs to the guest room. Beige walls, IKEA furniture. Nothing personal except my photos on the dresser. My wife Sarah, dead 6 years now. Marcus's graduation. Emma and Dylan as babies. I'd convinced myself this was temporary when I moved in. Just until you get settled after Mom, Marcus had said. Just until you figure out what's next. 3 years later, I was still here. Still paying rent in my son's house. Still convincing myself this was family, not a transaction. My phone buzzed. Text from my old station buddy, Frank. Happy Father's Day, Sully. Hope that boy of yours is treating you right. I sat on the bed and cried. Sunday, I started packing. I'd accumulated less than I thought. Firefighters learn not to get attached to stuff. Too many houses burned. Too many people losing everything. I'd kept that philosophy. Clothes, photos, my late wife's jewelry box, tools in the garage, some books. Emma found me folding clothes. Grandpa, where are you going? I'm going to get my own place, sweetheart. But you live here. For a little while, yeah. But now I'm going to live somewhere else. Her face crumpled. Because of what Daddy said, ice ran through my veins. What did Daddy say? I heard him on the phone with Mr. Todd. He said you're expensive, and they need to put you somewhere cheaper so they can sell your old house. My old house? The 3-bedroom ranch in southeast Portland where I'd raised Marcus, where Sarah died, where every room held 30 years of memories. I'd signed it over to Marcus 2 years ago. He'd convinced me, Dad, you're living with us now. Why pay property taxes on an empty house? Sign it to me. I'll manage it, rent it out, and you'll get the income. I'd trusted him. Emma, how do you know about Grandpa's old house? Daddy talks about it a lot. He says once you're in the home, he can sell it for lots of money, and we can get a pool and go to Disneyland. The home. A nursing home. Emma hugged my waist. I don't want you to go, Grandpa. I held her. My hands shook. I know, baby. I know. After she left, I made a phone call. To my lawyer. The one who'd handled Sarah's estate. I hadn't spoken to him in 2 years. Not since signing the house to Marcus. Robert, good to hear from you. How's retirement treating you? Dave, I need to know something. That house I signed to Marcus. What exactly did I sign? Papers rustling. Let me pull the file. Okay, here we go. You signed a quitclaim deed with a life estate agreement, meaning you retain the right to live there until death, and you can revoke the transfer any time with 90 days' notice. Did Marcus tell you that? The room spun. No. He said it was a full transfer. Absolutely not. I made sure of that, remember? I said at the time, Robert, you're too young to give up your rights to this property. You retain ownership in practical terms. It only fully transfers at your death. Can he rent it out without my permission? Not legally. No. You have full rights to occupy or control occupancy. He's been renting it for 2 years. I haven't seen a dime. Long silence. Robert, that's fraud. That's your rental income he's collecting. We need to talk. Can you come to my office tomorrow? I'll be there at 9. I hung up and sat very still. The betrayal was worse than I'd thought. He hadn't just asked me to leave. He'd been planning this, stealing from me while convincing me I was a burden. I opened my laptop. Marcus had given me access to his email once to help him with something technical. I'd never used it. Until now. It took me 20 minutes to find the folder. Dad's house. Inside, emails going back 18 months. Correspondence with property management companies. Lease agreements. Rent checks. $1,800 a month. The same amount he charged me. I was paying him to live in his house, while he collected rent on mine. I'd given him my home, and he'd made me a tenant. There were other emails. From Todd, the financial advisor. Subject lines like maximizing assets and senior care options and estate planning opportunities. I opened the most recent one, dated June 10th. 6 days ago. Marcus, as discussed, moving forward with the memory care facility makes sense. The faster you can transition, Robert, the faster you can liquidate the Portland property. Current market value, approximately $680,000. After facility costs of $6,000 a month, you're still looking at significant equity release. Plus, with him out of your house, you can convert that guest room into the home office Jessica wants. Win-win. Let me know when you break the news to him. Memory care facility. For a man with no memory problems, my father had had Alzheimer's. I'd watched him fade for 7 years. I knew the signs. I didn't have them. But Marcus was going to put me away anyway. Lock me in a facility, take control of my assets, and tell everyone I was sick. I printed everything. Monday morning, I loaded my truck. A 2015 Ford F-150 that I owned outright. Paid off with my own money, not Marcus's generosity. I'd parked it in his driveway for 3 years, like a guest. Marcus stood on his deck, watching. Jessica stood beside him, arms crossed, face unreadable. "Where are you going?" he called. "Does it matter?" "Dad, don't be dramatic. We can talk about this. Like you talked about renting my house without telling me? Like you talked about putting me in memory care?" His face went white. "You went through my email? You went through my life savings. We're even." I threw the last box in the truck bed. Emma and Dylan watched from the window upstairs. I waved. Emma pressed her hand to the glass. "Dad, wait. 3 years, Marcus. 3 years I convinced myself you needed me here, that I was helping, that we were family." I slammed the tailgate. "You want to know what I learned as a firefighter? You learn who people really are when things burn down. When everything's on fire, people either save each other or save themselves. You chose. You're being unfair. I paid you $64,800 in rent. I put in another $30,000 in improvements to your house. I gave you $75,000 from your mother's life insurance. I watched your kids 25 hours a week at $15 an hour. That's another $1,950 a month. Let's say conservatively I've contributed $230,000 to your life in 3 years. And you call me dead weight." Jessica started crying. "Where are you going?" Marcus asked again. "Somewhere I'm wanted. Not needed. Not tolerated. Wanted." I drove away. In my rearview mirror, Marcus stood frozen. Jessica had her hand over her mouth. The for sale sign I'd noticed going up on my old house that morning gleamed in the sun. He'd listed it. While I slept in his guest room, he'd listed my house. I drove to Ashland, small town, Southern Oregon, 3 hours from Portland. I'd been there once with Sarah, years ago for the Shakespeare Festival. We'd loved it, talked about retiring there. I'd remembered. I found a rental. Small cottage, $800 a month, including utilities. The landlord, a woman named Carol in her 70s, showed me around. It's not much, but it's quiet. Good neighbors. "You running from something or toward something?" "Both," I said honestly. "Good answer. When can you move in?" "Today?" She smiled. "Today works." I moved in with my boxes and tools and photos. The cottage had 1 bedroom, a tiny kitchen, a living room with a fireplace. The backyard had fruit trees, apple and pear. Sarah would have loved it. That night, my phone rang. "Marcus." I didn't answer. He called again. Left voicemails. "Dad, we need to talk. Dad, you're being unreasonable. Dad, the kids are asking for you. Finally. Dad, I talked to Dave, your lawyer. He says you can take the house back. Please don't do that. We can work this out." I deleted them without listening all the way through. 2 weeks later, Jessica called. I answered. I didn't know why. "Robert, please. I need you to know I didn't know about the rental income. Marcus handled all that. When I found out, we had the biggest fight of our marriage. But you knew he wanted me gone." Silence. "Yes, I knew that. Todd convinced him it was the right financial move. I didn't agree, but I didn't fight hard enough. I'm sorry." "Is that why you called? To apologize?" "I called because Emma's been crying every night. Dylan asks when you're coming home. They miss you." My throat tightened. "I miss them too. Will you come visit? Please? Tell Marcus I want my rental income. Every penny he collected for 2 years. Tell him I want it in a cashier's check by the end of the month, or I revoke the deed and he loses the house. Robert. And tell him I'll visit the kids when he can look me in the eye and tell me he's sorry. Not sorry he got caught. Sorry for what he did. I hung up. The check arrived 3 weeks later. $43,200. 2 years of rent minus expenses, Marcus claimed. I cashed it. I didn't hear from Marcus. I heard from Emma. A letter delivered to Carol's cottage. I don't know how she found the address. Dear Grandpa, I miss you. Daddy says you're mad at him. I'm mad at him too. He made you leave. He says grown-up things are hard, but I think grown-up things are mean. I saved my allowance, and I have $47. Is that enough for you to come back? Love, Emma, P.S. Dylan says he loves you and asks if you're still his grandpa. I cried reading it. I wrote back. Told her I was still her grandpa, always, and I loved her more than anything. That the $47 was the most generous offer I'd ever received. But I couldn't come back right now. That sometimes grown-ups make mistakes and need time to fix them. That she should save her money for something special for herself. I sent her a photo of the cottage, the fruit trees, the mountains visible from my backyard. Told her about the deer that visited every morning, the neighbor's cat that adopted me, the library in town where I'd started volunteering. I was building a life. In August, I got a visitor. Frank, my old station buddy, drove down. We sat on my porch, drank beer, watched the sunset paint the mountains purple. You doing okay, Sully? Better than I thought I'd be. Marcus called me, asked if I knew where you were. If you were safe, what'd you tell him? Told him you're a grown man who spent 30 years running into burning buildings. You can take care of yourself. He sipped his beer. He's worried about you. He's worried about the house. Maybe. But he sounded scared. Said you won't return his calls. That Jessica's threatening to leave him if he doesn't fix this. That his kids cry about you. Something in my chest twisted. He put me in an impossible position, Frank. He stole from me. Lied to me. Planned to lock me away. How do I forgive that? I don't know. But I know you. You've forgiven worse. Remember that kid we pulled out of that apartment fire on Division? The one who'd been smoking in bed, nearly killed his whole family? Yeah. You visited him in the hospital, brought him books, helped him quit smoking. Everyone else called him stupid, reckless. You called him human. That was different. Was it? Or are you just angrier because this time it's someone you love? I didn't answer. Frank left the next morning. Before he drove off, he hugged me. You taught me something once, Sully. You said firefighting isn't about saving buildings. It's about saving people, even when they set the fire themselves. In September, on what would have been Sarah's 65th birthday, I drove to the cemetery in Portland. I hadn't been back since moving. I brought flowers. Sat by her headstone in the autumn sun. I left him, Sarah, our boy. I packed up and left. I touched her name carved in granite. You would have known what to do. You always knew how to reach him when I couldn't. A shadow fell across the grass. I looked up. Marcus stood there. Older somehow, thinner. His expensive clothes hung loose. Hi, Dad. I didn't speak. Jessica told me you visit Mom on her birthday. Every year. I took a chance you'd come. He sat down, not too close. I've been coming here every week since you left. Talking to her, asking what I should do. What'd she say? That I'm an idiot. That I took the best man I ever knew and treated him like a burden. His voice cracked. That she didn't raise me to be cruel. I watched a crow land on a nearby headstone. I can't undo it, Dad. I can't take back what I said or what I did. I stole from you. I lied to you. I let Todd convince me that financial optimization was more important than family. I was going to put you in a facility you didn't need so I could cash out your house. I was. He wiped his eyes. I was going to erase you from my life for money. Why? My voice sounded foreign. Because it was easy. Because numbers made sense and feelings didn't. Because after Mom died and you were sad all the time, I didn't know how to help you. And then it became easier to resent you. Because Todd showed me spreadsheets that said you were costing me my financial future, and I believed numbers over love. He pulled out an envelope. I saw Dave, your lawyer. I revoked the deed. The house is yours again. Fully. I signed it back. I took the envelope. Didn't open it. I also fired Todd. Told him to shove his financial optimization. Started seeing a real therapist, not the online one who just validated my selfishness. She's helping me understand he stopped. Why I needed you to be the problem instead of me. The crow flew away. Jessica's right to think about leaving me. I don't deserve her. I definitely don't deserve you. Emma wrote you a letter, didn't she? Yeah, she told me. She's 8 years old and has more integrity than her father. She told me I was wrong, that you were the best person she knew, and I drove you away. An 8-year-old had to teach me basic human decency. I almost smiled. Almost. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I'm not asking to fix this. I just needed you to know I'm sorry. Really, deeply sorry. Not because I got caught. Not because of consequences. Because I hurt my father. The man who ran into burning buildings to save strangers loved me enough to pay into my life. And I called him dead weight. He stood. I'll leave you with Mom. I needed to say that, while I still could. He started walking away. Marcus. He stopped. I paid you $1,800 a month in rent. I know. Let me finish. I paid you $1,800 a month in rent, and I'd do it again. You know why? He shook his head. Because it meant I got to watch Emma learn to read. It meant I got to teach Dylan to throw a baseball. It meant I had 3 more years with my son. Even if he didn't want me there. Even if he saw me as a transaction. I saw him as my boy. I stood, joints creaking. You asked me to leave on Father's Day. Worst day of my life. But you know what? Second worst was the day I realized I'd raised a son who could say those words and mean them. His face crumpled. But the day I'm proudest of? Every single day, I chose to be kind to you anyway. Every day I watched your kids. Every improvement I paid for. Every time I swallowed my pride and stayed because I thought maybe, you'd remember who taught you to be better than this. Dad, I'm not done. You stole from me. You lied. You planned to lock me away. And you know what the worst part is? I still love you. I'm still your father. And that means I have a choice to make. I walked to him, looked him in the eyes, saw his mother's eyes looking back. You want forgiveness? Here's what it costs. Not money, not the house. I want you to be the man your mother believed you could be. I want you to teach Emma and Dylan that mistakes don't define you, but how you fix them does. I want you to look in the mirror every day and ask if you're being the person they deserve. I will, I promise. And I want Sunday dinners. Every week. At my cottage. You, Jessica, the kids. We eat together. We talk. We rebuild this. Slowly. With honesty. Yes. Anything. And Marcus? You ever hire another financial advisor who tells you family is overhead? You tell him to go to hell. You understand me? He nodded, tears streaming. I hugged him. He sobbed into my shoulder like he did when he was 8 and fell off his bike, when he was 12 and got cut from the team, when he was 22 and his girlfriend left him. My son. Still my son. I'm so sorry, Dad. I'm so sorry. I know. We'll figure it out. We stood there by Sarah's grave, father and son, broken and mending. That night, Emma called me. Grandpa, Daddy said you're coming to dinner Sunday. Can we make cookies? We can make anything you want, sweetheart. Dylan wants chocolate chip. I want snickerdoodles. Can we make both? We'll make a dozen kinds if you want. She giggled. That sound. That perfect sound. Sunday came. They drove to Ashland. Emma ran into my arms. Dylan showed me his loose tooth. Jessica hugged me tight, whispered, "Thank you," in my ear. Marcus stood on my porch, holding a pie, looking nervous. "Apple," he said. "Mom's recipe." I tried to remember how she made it. We ate dinner. Roast chicken. Vegetables from Carol's garden. Marcus's imperfect pie. We talked, really talked, about school, about work, about the fruit trees in my yard, about nothing and everything. After the kids went to explore the backyard, Marcus spoke. I withdrew the house from sale, but Dad, it's yours. I don't want it. I never should have. Keep it, I said. Rent it out. Legally this time. Put the income in a college fund for Emma and Dylan. Show me the paperwork quarterly. Prove you can be trusted with it. You'd give me that chance? You're my son. I'd give you 1,000 chances. Jessica squeezed his hand. We made cookies. All dozen kinds. Emma's snickerdoodles, Dylan's chocolate chip, even some oatmeal raisin that nobody really wanted, but we made anyway because Dylan insisted Grandpa liked them. I don't, but I ate 3. At sunset, we sat on my porch. The mountains glowed orange and gold. Emma sat in my lap. Dylan leaned against Marcus. Jessica rested her head on Marcus's shoulder. Grandpa? Emma asked. Yeah, sweetheart. Are you happy now? I looked at my family, my imperfect, broken, rebuilding family. Yeah, Emma, I'm happy now. Marcus met my eyes, mouthed, thank you. I nodded. Later, after they left, I sat alone, watching stars emerge. Frank called. How'd it go? We made cookies. Dozen kinds. He laughed. That's good, Sully. That's real good. Yeah, it is. You forgive him? I'm forgiving him. Every day. One Sunday at a time. Sarah would be proud of you. I looked at her photo on my mantle. I hope so. 3 months later, Marcus showed up on a Tuesday. Unexpected. He looked worried. Is everything okay? The kids. Kids are fine. Everyone's fine. Can we talk? We sat on my porch. November cold settled in. I brought coffee. Todd called me. My stomach dropped. He heard we reconciled. Said I was making a mistake, that you're getting older, and eventually you'll need care I can't afford. That I'm being financially irresponsible, keeping ties with you instead of planning for the inevitable. What'd you say? Marcus smiled. Small, but real. I told him my father taught me that love isn't a balance sheet, that the inevitable is we all get old, we all need help, and we all hope someone loves us enough to provide it. Then I told him to lose my number. I smiled. Good. He said I'd regret it. You might. I might need care someday. Might be expensive. Then I guess I'll have some rent money set aside in that college fund to help. We sat in comfortable silence. Dad, thank you for giving me a chance to be better. Thank you for taking it. Sunday dinners continued. Every week. Sometimes at my place, sometimes at theirs. Holidays, birthdays, regular Tuesdays, when Emma wanted to show me her science project or Dylan needed help with math. I taught Marcus to fix things. Not just houses, but trust. We worked on it together, tools and honesty, measuring twice and cutting once. And every year on Father's Day, we visit Sarah together. Marcus brings flowers. I bring stories. The kids bring drawings. This Father's Day, Emma made me a card. To Grandpa, who teaches us that love means staying even when it's hard. Marcus added a note inside. To Dad, who stayed, thank you. I'm 70 now. I still live in Ashland. Still volunteer at the library. Still make Sunday dinners. Still love my son, even though he broke my heart. Because that's what firefighters do. We walk into burning buildings. We save people. Even when they started the fire, we believe in second chances. In rebuilding from ash. In the possibility that what's broken can be made whole again. Marcus is building a deck on my cottage next month. He's paying for it, insists on it, says it's time he built something for me instead of taking from me. I told him I'd supervise. Make sure he measures twice. He laughed. Yes, sir. My boy. Still my boy. And that's worth more than any balance sheet could measure.